And we are live. What's happening, everyone? This is Avidan. Welcome to the 4th episode of Avidan Direct. Today we have a few topics to touch on. We're going to touch on hackers invading the Switch, and we're going to actually touch on crossplay with the Nintendo Switch as well. But I have a few guests here today. Mama Mercy cannot join us today. She is getting some rest. All you guys send her your well wishes. And we have a new guest with us today. And this guy is... I don't know what to say about that. I have no idea what to say about that. But before we get into the intros, we're going to get into shout-outs. Chris Levi, what's going on, my dude? Ryuku Chan, what is going on? Alexandra Deltas, what is going on? Stitch, what is good? Rufus, what is good? Thank you guys for coming on by. Share the chat, share this link with your friends. Have your friends come on by. We are going to have a really fun show today. And let's get into our intros. Soul Eater 56, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by. So we are going to start off with Chips because he has a Squirtle.
Let's see it's making its return.
It is. The main man, Chips and Sticks. Holla at your boy, leader of the Squirtle Squad.
Oh my gosh.
More. But yeah, so that's why Chips and Sticks, leader of the Squirtle Squad, my main man, Mr. Squirtastic. Holla at your boy. How you doing tonight?
I don't remember a time Squirtle appeared on a Sony system though.
Listen, he doesn't need to be on a Sony system. He's here with me. All right.
I took a Sony water from him. That's all. He's converting to Nintendo. This is what happens when you don't drink Sony water. You come to the truth. You come to the light and understand Nintendo is the right way to go. So, congratulations. Congratulations.
Bro, what's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing?
But yeah, I'm doing good, everyone. So, going on to the next person, NX Revolution, go ahead.
Yeah, NX Revolution got a YouTube channel. Twitter is at NX_Revolution. I actually just put a video up today talking about Smash Bros. Ultimate and how it is not a port, and how the argument will go on to affect developers. So check that out if you're into that stuff. I hope you like the video. I hope you subscribe.
And we're definitely going to have links in the description as well. So make sure you guys check that out. And we have a new guest with us. He is actually one of my patrons. There's also a really cool individual as well. We've talked to him in the Discord chat for a good while now. And we have Jake with us. Jake, shout yourself out, man.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
I'm the Jake and Bacon on Twitter at Bacon Jakin. I am notorious for giving Avidan my money. 3rd tier.
I didn't tell him to.
3rd tier, yeah.
So
I don't have a channel, but
he will soon.
I don't need one. I don't know.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you coming by, man. Thanks a lot. So today we are going to touch on the first topic, and we're just going to get right into this. Nintendo Switch hackers. Now, I know you guys have heard a lot of news about the Switch being hacked, even far as last month. In fact, you guys heard about Shiny Quagmire actually getting banned from using his Nintendo Switch, and he is a prominent user of hacks in the hacking community with Nintendo Switch. However, I want to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about hackers in general? Just recently it was announced today that there's a homebrew tool that actually allows hackers to implement adult theme imagery in their themes, as like their profile pictures or their backgrounds, in their background on their Switch. And also in Splatoon 2, they have been releasing unreleased content. So are they devaluing Nintendo's quality, or are they devaluing Nintendo's quality, and should they be worried? And it looks like we have a new, I should turn down that alert. Jonathan Harris, thanks for subbing. Should they be worried about this? And I want to put that question to you, Jake.
Well, I feel like, they paid for the Switch. They know the repercussions of hacking. They know Nintendo might catch them and ban them. If they want to risk it for the biscuit, if they really want to
I like that.
hack it and do what they want to it, more power to them. I don't agree with it. I will never hack my Switch. One, I don't know how. I'm kind of stupid. I don't know how to hack it. I'm not gonna try.
It's really
But I
easy.
mean, probably, I don't want to look into it. But I mean, they paid for it. If they want to tinker with it, go for it. As for the pornographic stuff, I mean, as long as they don't have like kids on their friends list, I don't see a real problem with it. I mean, if they want to do that, I think would become an issue if children saw that stuff. But it's impossible to monitor who's seeing that kind of stuff. So it could turn into an issue.
Okay. NX, since you are the game developer, I'm really interested in hearing your take on this.
Yeah, so basically my stance on this is the same as Jake's, where, yeah, I disagree with kids seeing this stuff, but these people did pay for it actually, and they do have the freedom to do whatever they want. And to answer your question, does doing this stuff hurt Nintendo? No,
Okay.
because hacking has been a thing for probably 2 decades now at least.
Yeah, pretty much.
It hasn't hurt them thus far. I haven't actually hacked my 3DS, to be honest, and I'm not doing anything like illegal or anything horrible with it. As long as you're careful with it and you don't do anything stupid, then more power to them, basically, in my opinion.
Now, I have a follow-up question. How can you hack but not do anything illegal with it? Like, what are some, just for my knowledge and for people in the chat, their knowledges as well, how can you hack something and it's not be illegal to the point where, because here's a common misconception about hacking. A lot of people think that once you hack, you're already breaking the law. So what are some examples of some of the things that people have been doing or can do in the sense that can be still in safe grounds?
Like, don't pirate games. That's
Obviously.
just be smart. Don't pirate games. Don't pirate. Well, this one's gonna be weird. This goes for really anything. Don't pirate videos, which you could do in theory. Just don't pirate things, and you're safe pretty much.
Okay.
Don't cheat online as well. Nintendo will ban you for that.
Okay. All right. Chips, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much on the same page as NX and Jake. It's hackers are gonna hack. They've been doing that since God knows how long.
Right.
So it really doesn't make a difference. Does it hurt Nintendo? Absolutely not, because it didn't necessarily hurt Sony when they did it. It didn't necessarily hurt Microsoft when they did it. It's just people, hacking the system, and that's it. Just hacking the system, and they're doing it for selfish reasons, and it doesn't affect the major gaming community, especially those that don't hack, because those who get caught end up getting banned anyway. So what happens is that once you get caught hacking a system, your system now becomes a super expensive paperweight. So the same thing is gonna happen with the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo is pretty firm on that stance. If you get caught hacking or doing something that's not, kosher, they're gonna brick your system. Like, you can't do anything with it. The only thing you can do is play offline. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
I know a few people that have hacked systems, and they can't do anything with it. I can't play with them. They can't play online. They have to continue to hack their system and get the different games on there just to have fun with it. So in the end, who's really winning here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Once you hack it, there's no going back.
Exactly.
Like, you can't get online because Nintendo's going to catch you, and then they're going to brick your system. You could have another one, but is it really worth $300
actually,
to fill around.
Yes,
Actually,
to a lot of people.
Actually, I have something that I want to add to that. So, as I mentioned earlier with Shiny Quagsire actually was hacking on his on a different Switch, but his non-hack Switch got banned. So that's something that I say we should all take in consideration with Nintendo too. They don't just
Nintendo Network.
Yeah, they don't
Right.
just don't ban your Switch. They ban your. It's very close to an IP ban, basically. So when I look at Nintendo doing this, I agree with you guys. Nintendo should not be worried. But one of the things that I will want to add to this is when you and for those of you guys, especially NX, you could probably vouch for this and validate this. Whenever you get rid of one hack, there's always another hack that is 10 times deeper than the old one.
Hackers always find a way around things.
They're going to find another way to do this, another way to do this. So is this a battle that does Nintendo want to keep winning, or is the new piracy system they have in place going to really is it going to be more, I would say, way more effective than in their Wii U days? Like, should hackers try Nintendo with the same mindset of, well, we hacked the Wii U like it was no problem?
Yeah, hackers are going to always have the upper step. It's just that, and it's gonna sound strange, it's just the drive the hackers have to do the things they do with their systems. It's always there, and it's always gonna keep pushing the limits of what is possible with the system.
100%.
That's their goal.
100%. Anyone else want to add to that?
Nope. Pretty much it.
All right, cool. So let's go jump right into the next question then. Do you believe hackers are ruining Splatoon 2 in particular then? As I mentioned, they are playing with unreleased weapons right now. They are, to even go deeper than that, they are actually, for those of you who don't know Splatoon, you have sub-weapons, you have regular weapons, and they are mixing regular weapons with different sub-weapons that normally wouldn't be together, thus giving them an upper edge. They're increasing their hit damage ratio, which gives them an upper edge in matches too. So are they devaluing games like that? Because these hackers are a lot harder to find than the ones who are exploiting the systems for their own gain. And Chips, why don't you just go with that one first?
I would say yeah. Yeah, they're definitely devaluing it because if you guys remember, back in the day how bad Call of Duty was hacked, it's gonna be the same effect. Call of Duty, to a point after it got hacked, wasn't fun to play anymore because it was just some people were just so OP with basic weapons, and then they started to throw different types of mechanics in the mix, like no gravity or something like that. Crazy things like that. To the point where it didn't make the game necessarily fun anymore unless that was something that you were looking for.
Right.
For a majority of people that play Splatoon 2, I don't think, and this is just my opinion, you guys have played it longer than I have, so you can speak on this, but I don't think that's what the audience is looking for. The fan base for Splatoon 2, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for legitimate, fun gameplay, either co-op or team versus team, whatever modes that they have in Splatoon 2. Nobody's looking to have that hacked where you can have the basic paint gun, souped up to do like 20% more damage than a regular paint gun and make it uneven, for other players. Like, it, to me, that's not fun. If I come across that, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna retire my copy of Splatoon 2 if everybody is on that kind of wave. Like, I'm not doing it because it's aggravating. You can't get around that.
First of all, I hear my echo in the background on someone's end. Secondly, I have my echo, guys. I don't know whose side it's on, but NX, I want you to go next on this one.
Yeah, this is really a double-sided question because the magnitude of people doing it is so small that it really doesn't matter. Should these people be banned for doing it? Yes. When they're caught, yes. But does it ruin the game overall? Not really, because the amount of people doing it is so small, and that will never grow. Because, well, he brought up like the old Call of Duty. Yeah, that was on a system that was easier to hack. And I know I just said that the hackers will keep going and keep hacking the system even with all the updates, but because it is difficult to do now anyways, that community is going to grow smaller and smaller, and Nintendo will find out who they are and ban them from online play. So I would say on a small scale, does it hurt the value of the game? Yeah, no one wants to be cheated in a game. But overall, is it going to affect it to say it's going to ruin the value of the game? Not in my opinion.
All right, cool. Jake, you want to add to that?
I mean, at like a personal level, I suck enough already. I don't need people. I don't need people cheating. They're killing me just fine before.
I mean, come on, you've killed me like 3 or 4 times.
That's not saying much.
Don't get started.
Like that was an unplanned tag team. My bad, NX.
It's only 20 minutes into the podcast and is already trash talking. Like,
I mean, you're here, so it's bound to happen.
I mean, I was gonna say you were late because you were too scared focusing on the beating you're gonna get at Dragon Ball FighterZ on September 29th.
Yo, NX, I can't wait, bro. I
gotta record this. I'm gonna record it.
The pause I'm gonna put on you is so crazy. I cannot wait. Please, I'm gonna try to get it early from, you know what I'm saying, my connect, you know, around my way.
My dude says connect.
Yeah.
His Xbox Connect.
Yeah, I gotta connect around my way that gets games early. So, you know, I'm ready for you. I'm ready.
I said the 29th because I only need a day to practice.
Oh,
you know what? Fine. Hey, get it the 29th. I'll get it the next day. I'll get it 2 days after.
Oh.
No, you already have the game. Get it whenever you want.
These hands are gonna be so epic.
Chips, I saw you playing online, bro. You weren't Nappa. If you remember this, you were not Nappa. I don't know if you remember that, but he straight up murked your entire squad.
I mean, you know, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna reflect on the past right now.
I mean,
that was probably like a 10-year-old kid.
I mean, we're not me against Chips. That's not the question now. I think he kind of admits that, so we're not talking about me anymore. So I kind of leave him alone.
About myself and NX.
I kind of leave him alone now. So yeah, but Jake, you everyone answered that part of the question. So I want to ask also, because I actually have something I want to add to that, and this is just me thinking out loud now. When it comes down to it, do you guys think this actually contributes to how Nintendo has been dealing with their online service? In a sense that this is how they're looking forward to pushing their online in the future, and it's like different things that we see with online. They are waiting for their full release instead of putting out in a free trial. Case in point, native voice chat. There's been a lot of controversy with that, especially when it comes to Fortnite having native voice chat. And I wanted your guys' opinion on this. Is the hacking and all the stuff that's been going around behind the scenes with Nintendo, is that contributing to how they're dealing with their online native voice chat? And NX, you can take this one first.
That is a difficult question because each company is going to have their own way to deal with something like that. Personally, I don't think so. I think Nintendo, and I'm probably the biggest Nintendo fan here. I think Nintendo was so inept with their online before this past year that they were just handling it that way because they thought it was the right way. That's my personal opinion on it. I mean, they banned people from playing online on the 3DS and Wii U even. They are still banning people from playing online on the 3DS. So,
I want to... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't really think that that's the reason.
Okay.
I think they're just learning as they go.
Fair enough, fair enough. Chips, how about you, man?
You know, I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I don't think it's. I want to say I don't think it is gonna affect their online service. I think they'll just be, they'll be just fine. But I really don't know. Like I can't say that with 100% faith. I'm going into that with about, I don't know, maybe 60 or 70% faith with how their online service is going to turn out, especially in lieu of everything that's happening.
Okay. All right, and Jake?
I didn't hear it. My internet, you guys sounded like robots. You guys sounding like robots. Like the last minute.
Oh, my bad.
I don't know. I mean, I think they're separate issues, honestly. Without like taking it at this on the surface level for what it is, I think they're separate. I think Nintendo is focusing on online and trying to get all the hacker stuff swept underneath the rug as quickly as possible, and looking forward to the fall, because I think it's really gonna blow up for Nintendo in a good way. So
okay, so here's the thing. My question to you guys is this. Now, we all know that, hackers always find a way. And I've mentioned that earlier. Hackers will find a way to break through things, and we all agreed. Hackers will find a way. With the new Smash Brothers coming out in December, is this a game that hackers will find a way to put in new characters that weren't made by Nintendo and have them use these characters for their own amusement, for their own advantage, that they can use hacked characters as mods? Is that a possible thing to happen now? NX?
And my question back to you, what new characters? Because with the Wii U version, they did hack skins, but that was about it. They didn't. Then, from what I've seen, most hacks did not change the properties of the physics and such. So I don't think it'll be a huge issue.
Okay. Anyone want to add to that?
I mean, I feel like if they were able to hack and add a new character, it's pretty impressive. But the moment they go online, they are going to get absolutely obliterated by Nintendo. So
Nintendo's going to do that even if only we have skins. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
What they do?
I said Nintendo is going to do that even if they go online with only skins.
Yeah, the second they go online with anything, Nintendo is so on edge with hackers lately that I don't think they're going to let anything slip through the cracks, let alone a huge change like that, like a new character. They'd probably do something drastic, lock any switches from connecting from that IP address ever, or something like that.
And I also have one more thing to add. Especially with Smash Bros, because I would assume every online fight is recorded because of the. It'll probably come back. There was a feature in the Wii U and 3DS version where you could watch other online matches and then bet your in-game money on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume every match is recorded. So if you go online with skins, instant ban. If you go online with anything altered, instant ban.
I can see that.
Nintendo will know.
I can definitely see that.
Yep, I agree. I don't think Nintendo is gonna let, hackers take advantage of one of their major IPs that's coming out, this year, especially before holiday season. And
that is holiday season, actually.
Yeah. So Yeah, you're right, because it's December. So
December
I don't
7th.
think Nintendo's even gonna let that fly or even let that happen. Nothing like that is gonna fall through the cracks at all. And anybody, you know, like NX said, anybody from that IP address is just gonna get straight banned once they try to go online. Like, this is something, because at the end of the day is a business, right? So they don't want anything messing with their money and with their products and their services. So yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yep. And look at all those people that their Twitters just disappeared from like leaks even. Imagine what's gonna happen if someone puts new characters into Smash.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, and especially when this is their most important port of the year for the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking at how casual the new Pokemon game looks.
That game's
Smash,
gonna sell like.
definitely-
That game's gonna sell. Oh, my bad.
It's gonna sell a lot, but it looks so like, I'm not saying casual is a bad thing, but it just looks like it's not going to get the amount of like hours people are gonna hardcore play Smash.
I would. You know what? No, I would have to disagree with that too
I would
because
disagree as well.
I would have to disagree with that because casuals. I'm gonna say one game right now that I guarantee people locked up so many hours in most of their games on the Switch, and that's Stardew Valley. I can say right now, a lot of people are locked up so many hours in Stardew Valley, and Stardew Valley is as casual as you can get on the Switch. So imagine
Stardew Valley,
Maybe.
that game is something else.
See?
Yeah, all my 40 hours.
Maybe I'm speaking personally. Maybe that's what it is.
I got
like,
you.
Stardew Valley, I liked it. I only have like 5 hours. I don't really like casual games like that.
I
I
understand.
like games that I like Paladins where I hop in and like kill people, and then get into another game and start it all over again.
Serial
Um,
killer.
A little bit.
I got you. I haven't touched Stardew either, so shout out to Nintendo Direct. Everyone give them a big shout. Nintendo Direct, yo, Nintendo, yo, shout your channel out, man.
What up, Nick?
Guys, shout out Nintendo Direct. Awesome dude here. Awesome dude. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate you, man.
It's
Although,
awesome.
Jake, to be fair, every time I
Everyone
get
go
in the
follow
top 10 of Fortnite, I'm so close to just chucking my Switch across the room.
Okay, let's talk about Fortnite for a second, because
Let's talk about Fortnite.
I play with my friends back in California. He plays on Xbox One. Therefore, I get all the Xbox players. They are so good that the minute I run into anybody, they build around me. I don't know how to build. I don't know what the
Neither
heck
do
I'm
I.
doing. Excuse me. And I die. So the minute I literally run around until I find somebody, and they kill me, and then we do it all over again. It's fun. It's a good time. Thanks for making crossplay.
Hey, man, it's not as bad as when you go through. It's not as bad as when you play against a PC player like myself. Like our vision, our range, and everything. How much we could see. Especially if you have a beast computer like I have right here. Come on. So, yeah, I really had to add that question in. Chips, you have anything you want to add to that Smash question?
Nah. I mean, everybody pretty much covered it.
Okay.
I mean, he's more interested in the next PlayStation All Stars, probably.
well, that's
Nah.
true too.
PlayStation All Stars is retired. I'm looking for that new Crash Bandicoot kart racing game.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go into the next question then, and it's touching on the lines of Fortnite because we're gonna start getting into like paid stuff. It's more like Overwatch territory, and that's where Reggie hinted at the use of loot boxes down the line. And basically showing his more of an interest in loot boxes instead of a disdain like many of us gamers have. Now, I'm going to kick this question off myself. I'm going to sit here and say loot boxes used correctly aren't bad. When EA uses loot boxes, that is a problem. Because EA would make you get the most ridiculous stuff from a loot box that is probably game breaking, whereas the common thing for loot boxes has always been cosmetics. So my question to you guys, what are your thoughts on Reggie Fils-Aimé of Nintendo considering the use of loot boxes for the future of Nintendo?
Oh, let me take this one.
Go ahead.
So I think it's a bad idea because if you remember when this whole loot box thing blew up and got out of hand, it's not just because that it's unfair microtransactions, but in Europe it's illegal. It's considered gambling, and when you have kids that are buying loot boxes, that's underage gambling.
Isn't Australia? Didn't they make it a law against Australia that you can't do it? Yeah.
Yes, because they recently I think it's because this whole microtransactions thing got out of hand and it caught wind on so many different levels that it actually caught the attention of lawmakers over in Australia and I think Belgium is another country. And so when they looked deeper into it, they was like, oh, this is gambling because loot boxes are random, right? So you have kids playing games like Overwatch and Star Wars, and you have all these loot boxes. That's kids spending money to gamble. That's illegal. They got hit with a bunch of fines, and I guess the people who make Overwatch are still in court in regards to that. Is it a good idea for Nintendo to go into that? No. Stay away from those waters as much as possible, because not only are you going to dive headfirst into legal issues, but now you're gonna upset all of the gamers that had a problem with this with EA and Overwatch and Bungie, because Bungie was another one. It's gonna make Nintendo lose money, and one thing Nintendo does not want to do is lose money with their consumers. Everything at the end of the day is a business, right? So for him to even try to hint at entertaining loot boxes, to me it's ridiculous. If they go into loot boxes, or even those kind of like even that fashion of microtransactions for some of their games, I mean, you've already lost me as a customer, because you guys know how I feel about microtransactions. I don't like them, point blank, period. If it's for cosmetics reasons, fine, all right, you can get away with that. But if it's along the lines of pay to play, I'm against it. So you've already lost me, and then everybody else that has a problem with it, you've lost them too. So that's a huge base. So I don't think it's smart for Reggie to even entertain that idea.
All right, I want to respond. Here, Michael again, guys. Just letting you guys know. Here's what I feel about that. The case about loot boxes is still a sticky situation. One of the things you have to consider is the fact that not all loot boxes are microtransactions. In fact, key in point, Overwatch, you don't have to pay for loot boxes. You're given a free loot box every time you level up. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to loot boxes, yet again, because yes, in a sense, it's considered gambling, but in a sense where I can make the argument there is a gambling sense in any game that requires PvP, especially player versus player, where you put things on the line to get the other player's items. There's always a sense of gambling in many types of games. You can't get around that. So that's a really slippery slope when you really think about it. So that's why I said when it's done tastefully, I don't have a problem with loot boxes. If loot boxes is only on the lines of cosmetics, I don't see a problem with it at all. So
nah, I'd have to disagree with you on that one, because the thing is, loot boxes are random. So whether you get them or not, that's still in there in the game, and it's still considered gambling. Now, if you have different skins to purchase and you know outright what you're getting, that's fine, because you need at least a parent's approval to buy it or whatever. But again, loot boxes are random. Whether you can level up in the game or you have it there to buy, it's still there, right? It's still an option to indulge in, right? So it's illegal at the end of the day because you still have these kids gambling. It's underage gambling.
Wait,
right?
so
No matter how you slice the pie, that's just wrong.
Man.
I don't agree with it.
Okay,
go ahead.
I got an opinion. All right, so say like a 10-year-old walks into Walmart and he sees a pack of Magic the Gathering cards and he buys the pack. He doesn't know what's going to be in there, but he's going to get something.
Go ahead, you took it. Go ahead. You took my example. Go ahead. I was gonna use Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Gambling? No, it's not considered gambling. So how can loot boxes? They're the same thing. You know you're getting
the exact
something.
same thing. Actually.
You don't know what it is. You're guaranteed something. If you go to a casino and you put $10 into a slot machine, you are guaranteed nothing. You are guaranteed a chance to win. You can walk away with 0. Whereas loot boxes, you're guaranteed to get something. It might not be what you want, but you are getting something. And the problem arises when it's tied into being able to advance through the game, like with Battlefront. If you have to get the loot boxes in order to get characters and everything like that, that's an issue. But if you're having loot boxes that are just random and you're complaining that there's too many opportunities to buy them, then don't go into a store because there's stuff like that everywhere.
That was the point that I wanted to bring up, actually. And since you got the Squirtle right there, I'm gonna use that example. I'm gonna use an example.
Pokemon cards.
Exactly. I'm just gonna.
Don't use my Squirtle as an example. Don't use Squirtle as an example. Come up with something else.
No, I won't use him. I'll use his nemesis. I'll use the one we all know, Charizard. Growing up, you the same age as me, fam. How many of us wanted to get a Charizard in a Pokemon cards pack? How rare was that? How many people got so many Pokemon cards to try to get Charizard? So many. That's the point. But in an age that you could call that gambling in a sense, because you're buying so many cards to go here to go ahead and get that Charizard. There is so many opportunities to get that Charizard. Basically, if I'm getting what you're saying, anything that involves probability is gambling. And in a sense, as I said earlier, that's in every single game. That's in a lot of multiplayer games.
How?
Okay, let me go to MMOs. I'll use MMOs for example.
Okay.
MMORPGs, right? There's some instances where you can go ahead and duel people, right? And you could put items you have on the line against the other person. If you win, you get that person's items. If you lose your items. Gambling. If you go out and do player versus player, and if you, in a sense where you could lose all your items if you lose, that's still gambling. It's still a gamble at the end of the day. There's no way, shape, or form that is always going to be a short shot victory.
That's why it's gambling, because you can end up with nothing. Whereas loot boxes, you get something.
You always get something.
Okay. All right. So in those MMOs, right? Because so this is unfamiliar territory for me, right? With online MMOs, I haven't played one since Guild Wars, and I didn't even put too much time in that.
Got you.
So do you pay for your weapons and your armor?
Of course.
And your shades, and then when you battle somebody, you lose it? Because
if you lose,
I do that when I did that in Guild Wars or RuneScape. I mean, I truly don't recall that. It's been years since I've played any of those games, but
I can tell you in RuneScape. I don't recall
that in I mean, I've never heard about that in Final Fantasy.
I can tell you in RuneScape right away, as someone who used to play RuneScape a lot, especially years ago. Back in RuneScape, if you was to die in the wilderness, and if you had basically, here's the thing, they had a rule. You will keep your 3. If you didn't have a skull over your head, you'll keep your 3 most precious items in value. And if you did have a skull over your head, you lost everything that was in your inventory. So again,
see that? Okay, that's why I never had a skull over my head. So
yeah, you would lose everything. And yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's where it's like rock paper scissors. Like if you lose, you lose. Whereas with loot boxes, you lose, but you don't really lose. If that makes sense. Like you lose, but you don't completely lose because you get stuff.
Right. NX, I want your opinion on this. We've been going in.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt. But, yeah, so Reggie talking about loot boxes. Ultimately, and this is my opinion, he doesn't know that they're working on it. He doesn't know whether they're going to implement it in the future. He's looking at it as, I don't want to rule anything out because we are a business. We're going to do what we can to get money. And if it, let's go with Chip's argument here. Let's say it does become illegal and they say you can't do loot boxes anymore. They just won't do loot boxes. But if they go and find that, hey, it's okay, Nintendo now has a door to make more money. I think Reggie is just trying to leave doors open, really.
Which is smart.
And it's just coming from the business side of things. You can't fault a company for taking advantage of things, in my opinion.
You're right.
The way they are.
I agree with you on that point. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and really the same goes if they find that loot boxes are illegal, they're gonna have to they're gonna force the Pokemon company to stop selling Pokemon cards. They're gonna force a lot of companies to stop doing a lot of things, basically. So, really, at the end of the day, I don't think we should take Reggie's word for anything here, actually, and I think it's just future-proofing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna piggyback off that then. If we're not to take Reggie's word off anything, should we take Reggie's word off Mother 3 and Animal Crossing might be coming to the Switch? Let's just jump right into that.
I didn't say he didn't know what they were working on. I'm talking about the game mechanics.
I know.
I'm sure he knows what games they're working on. They're definitely working on Animal Crossing. Mother 3 he's been talking about for 3 years now.
Yeah, I mean he said it in an interview. He's aware that fans want Mother 3 and Animal Crossing, but he just can't comment on it. You know, and it's funny that he said that because it's kind of open-ended where it's not a confirmation yet it's kind of a confirmation, because when those two games were brought up to him specifically, you know, he doesn't have much to say about it. So that tells me that he's known about, you know, fans wanting Mother 3 and Animal Crossing, you know, for a long time, and he just doesn't want to comment because he doesn't want to ruin any future surprises, which is something that I think is in the works. And I don't think we're gonna get an announcement about those games this year, but maybe sometime in 2019 we may hear something about it.
Now, I don't think the game that he's not wanting to comment on is Animal Crossing. It's Mother 3.
Yeah.
We all know Animal Crossing is coming. We all know they're working on it.
Nah, he said both. He said both.
I know what he said, but it's a spur of the moment type thing. Whereas you group these two things together because you know one's coming, so you build a pipe. It's a business game. That's what it is. And he's saying he's covering all his bases basically. I think that they've been talking about Mother 3 for the past 3 years now. It's the way I word this is weird, just but like so frequently compared to how they did before. That has to be coming at some point. But I think we see Animal Crossing this year. I'm just gonna throw that out there in the fall direct.
That would be kind of awesome, and that's going to actually bring my next question to you guys. Do you think that these games will sell in good volume?
Now that's Animal Crossing is gonna sell. It's one of Nintendo's top selling titles. Mother 3, that one's hard because the amount of people that know that know that series is not very large.
Yeah.
It is a very popular series, but it's a cult following. It's a loud minority, essentially. They're going to release it, and it's going to do well within their expectations, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But it's not gonna break any records.
I wanna ask this. What if they slightly release Mother 3 sometime next year after Smash Brothers? Like, they let Ness and Lucas get more of a presence and make one of the DLC characters come out sometime next year that's from Mother 3 and basically release Mother 3 after that. Do you think the sales will go up? Do you think that would have a big influence on the Mother 3 sales at that point?
It might, because I hear an echo.
You do?
Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah, not me either.
I'm not doing anything.
No. Oh, anyways, it might help, but it won't be to such a degree. People want to use the example of Martha and Smash Bros, but Fire Emblem didn't start selling well, and I love the Fire Emblem series. I'm not trying to talk bad about it or anything. It didn't start selling well until well over 10 years after Smash Melee came out. So,
to that fair point, the GameCube is considered a failed console to some, or borderline failed.
Yeah.
I can't I can't necessarily use Melee as an example, because if you want to think,
okay, let's use Brawl as an example. Then it had more Fire Emblem characters. Oh, wait, did it?
no, it only had one extra. It only had one extra. No, it had the same amount. Actually, it had two. They only had Marth and Ike. I'll say Smash.
So it started. It took 5 years after Brawl.
But look at when Smash Ultimate came out, and look how many more Fire Emblem games came out around Smash 4, on the 3DS especially.
Yeah, but if you actually look at that, the reason they made more. Essentially, if you read the interviews, Fire Emblem Awakening was going to be the last Fire Emblem game.
Right.
It's only because that sold well 5 years after Brawl. And I'm not saying there's no effect, but I think that the game mechanics in Fire Emblem Awakening were more accessible than the quote-unquote traditional Fire Emblem games.
Okay. Jake, you want to add to that?
Huh?
You want to add to that?
About the Mother 3.
Mother 3 and 5 and Mother 3 and well, Animal Crossing 2, you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, I think with Mother 3, it's really going to come down to like a couple things. One, how much are they going to charge for it? I think that's going to have a huge impact.
Over 9,000.
It depends.
Like if they charge $30 for it, $40 for it, and the marketing is good, and they get it out there. I mean, I think it'd do all right. I think the hype is there for people that haven't played it. Personally, I've never played it, but all of the talking
Missing out.
makes me want to play it. So I'll buy it if it comes out.
Okay,
and
so
I feel like that's
sorry,
the same for a lot of people.
Okay, I was just gonna say I propose a trilogy pack, all remastered for the Switch.
And you know, I've never played Animal Crossing either. I
want a Pikmin collection before that.
Never played Pikmin.
It should come, but 4 has been almost done for 3 years now. So
Yeah, I'm dying for a new Pikmin.
But sorry, I didn't mean to talk over people.
Do they have Pikmin on the 3DS?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm getting the Zelda 2DS, and that's going to be my first handheld, like pure handheld since the Game Boy Advance. So I'm going to have a nice backlog to play. Like, I'll probably buy an Animal Crossing and play that for the first time, and a Pikmin. So I'm going to get the chance to like visit all these titles that everyone's so excited for.
I will say that the Pikmin game on the 3DS is not like representative of the console Pikmin games.
Well, I didn't have a Wii or a Wii U. Before the Switch, I had a GameCube was the last Nintendo console I had, and then I switched to PlayStation and Xbox.
You went to the dark side.
I did. I actually had a Star Wars PS2, like the silver one, the Darth Vader. Oh, I think it was dope.
Okay. Chips, anything else want to add to that? Chips?
What? No, I'm good.
You wait? You good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, all right. Not last question. Let's just jump right into this because I'm sure you guys have seen it. I'm sure you guys have seen that new Nintendo and Microsoft ad where cross-play with Fortnite and Minecraft. It looks like they're gonna be teaming up more and more. This is gonna be a thing with Nintendo and Microsoft now. Do you guys think, because Sony are the way they are with crossplay, if Sony decides to jump on the crossplay bandwagon with their PlayStation 5, do you think it'll be too late for them to hop on at that point? Anyone can take the question.
I mean, I feel like they've burned a lot of bridges with the whole Epic account thing. People are not happy about it, just based on how much, like, if they spent tons of money on, like, I think Dreamcast guy is a good example. He said he spent a lot of money on his PlayStation version of Fortnite, and he has literally nothing to show for it when he plays on Xbox or Switch. So I think people are going to resent them a little bit. It'll come down to, you know, how the PS5 is presented. You know, if it's cheaper than the new Xbox, if the graphics are just as good or is better, people will, you know, and if the exclusives are there like they have been for the last couple of years, people are still going to pick PlayStation over Xbox. That's why they have like a over 2-to-1 lead in console sales. Like, I don't know. It's going to be hard. PlayStation, you know, they really have to mess it up for themselves to like I don't know what I was going to do though.
Okay.
Next person.
Yeah, so I don't think it'll be too late. I think that once they do it eventually, which I'm not even sure they'll do it next gen, it may be the PlayStation 6 before it happens. They're gonna need a huge backlash for it to happen, and then people are going to be happy about it. I don't think they're going to hold it against them because of that. Now, that's an individual question. Everybody's different. So, I don't know. I really don't know, but just personal opinion, I don't think it'll be too late.
Chips, you want to take that before I jump in on this?
Where was the disdain for all of this when Nintendo double-crossed Sony? Where was the disdain when
Did
Xbox
you really?
was like,
hey, Chips, read everything about that.
Slow.
Hold up.
Read what Sony wanted to do with that.
When that happened. But when
read what Sony wanted to do.
Like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this because at first I was like, you know what? I don't really care for it because one, I don't really play Fortnite like that, and I didn't put any money into it. So I didn't really care too much. On one hand, it is bad, you know, for the consumers, but on the other hand, it's Sony. Well, it's a company being a company, right? They're gonna look out for their own pockets. But I'm seeing this every day since it happened, since that ad was dropped. You know, play, live, survive together. Bump all of that. Everybody's mad that Sony doesn't want to play fair right now, but back in the day when Xbox didn't want to do it, nobody was outraged as they are today. When Nintendo was like, "Oh, bump Sony," nobody was as outraged as they are today. So to me, it's a bunch of hypocrisy on the fans. You know what I'm saying? Just because of one game.
Fortnite.
One?
It's one
Rocket
game.
League.
One game? Oh.
One game that really matters. When you
one game that really matters?
One game that really matters.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What
Oh,
other, what other
okay.
game can you tell
Okay,
me
sure.
everybody's up in arms about?
Let's just let him have it.
No.
It's not worth it.
No.
But seriously, tell me what other game is everyone up in arms about right now?
You about to catch his work.
Give me the word. Tell me.
you about to catch his work.
About any other game except Fortnite.
You about to catch.
Everybody's mad about Fortnite.
You about to catch his work, homie. All right, now first of all, you want to say where was this when Nintendo double-crossed Sony? So you really want to bring it back to the PS1 era where there was no online in the first place. So yes, Nintendo did catch a lot of flack for that actually. Nintendo caught a lot of flack and Nintendo's still catching flack for that because it was because of that Nintendo did not get Final Fantasy VII, possibly and arguably one of the greatest RPGs of all time. So yes, Nintendo is still catching flack about that, so there is no hypocrisy about that. Nintendo has gotten their just desserts about that since, let's see, almost 20 years now. Nintendo yes they have. No, yes they have.
I disagree with you, but go ahead, finish.
No. Nintendo has been catching a lot of flack about that, mainly because their next console after the Super Nintendo was the N64, which was a console a lot of people did not like because they did not go into DVD format. Nintendo's president at the time was so stubborn that he did not want to let go of the cartridges. And then right after that, it was from the Nintendo 64. The N64 was the era. And don't get me wrong, that's one of my favorite systems, but that was the point in time when Nintendo started to fall because Nintendo wanted to brag about how powerful they were with the N64 and how much power they had, but they didn't have the ingenuity of bringing cinematics as the DVDs were with the PlayStation. So if you want to bring it to that simple era where Nintendo and Sony weren't being the same system, not only that, the whole story to that as to what NX was trying to say, Nintendo didn't want to do business with Sony because Sony wanted an unreasonable cut with their business deal. They wanted an insane cut. It was not a fair cut whatsoever. So if you want to tell that story, tell the whole story.
Part of that story too is that Nintendo wanted to box Sony out of the market. Sony didn't have any kind of foothold in the gaming market, and Nintendo was huge at the time. And then they went behind Sony's back and was trying to do a deal with Philips for the CD-ROM, and Sony knew about it. But they kept negotiations up. Regardless, they tried to do it, and then Nintendo, like you said, was so stubborn they didn't want to move to the CD format with Sony. And then what happened? Sony ended up making their own system at the end of the day, right? And it sold over 100 million. But my main point is that there is a lot of hypocrisy with this because yes, we remember this, right? But a lot of I want to say the new age gamers who don't really know anything.
You can't call that hypocrisy then if they don't know.
Like, yes, no, because they want to be like, oh, Sony's not playing fair, da da da. But then at the same time, they was around for when Xbox was like, nah, y'all can chill. We're gonna take the top spot. Remember when PS3 wasn't doing too well? You remember that?
I remember that.
Xbox was like, nah, y'all can stay at the bottom.
See, so, yeah, but you see, I can understand.
So as a consumer, yes, it's not fair, but as a business standpoint, it's all about the money. So you're gonna look out for your pockets, right? I don't blame them for that. I really don't blame them for that. As a business standpoint, I don't blame them because everybody wanted to count Sony out at the end of the day, and then now look where Sony's at.
Well, first of all, Sony was at the bottom spot because they was trying to charge $600 for a console. Let's just put that out there in the first place.
Right, it was at the bottom, right? But then when they started,
it sold after they cut it $300.
Then it started to change, right? When they changed the price point for the PS3, it started to change, and then the PS4 was selling. It started to change, but Sony is on top now, right? But then everybody wants to complain that Sony's not playing fair. Yeah, you know what? It's on a consumer end, like I said, it's not fair. But from a business standpoint, you got to do what you got to do. It's a business at the end of the day. It's a dog-eat-dog world, right?
Right. Shark eat shark, homie.
With Sony, so they're getting their just dues. I have no problem with it,
But it's not dog-eat consumer.
Say it again. You was breaking out.
It's not dog eat consumer. Yeah,
But,
sure,
all right, so
competition is good.
Let me ask you something.
That's what I'm
Let
saying.
me ask you something. If Nintendo was as in the same spot as Sony is in, right? Do you think they would be more consumer friendly or more pocket friendly?
No.
All right
No,
then.
they'd be more
so
pocket
what's-
friendly.
So that's what
I
I'm
would
saying.
criticize
Like,
them.
you can't really blame them at the end of the day, because if Nintendo was at the top, they'll do the same thing, right? Microsoft was at the top, they did the exact same thing.
In a way, Nintendo is on the top because they're not direct competitors with Sony and Xbox, because
They're in their own league right now, actually.
Yeah, they are. They're so in the league of like handhelds and hybrid consoles, they are on top. and you said that I feel like
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, all you said, you called it hypocrisy, but all through like history, one thing can be accepted, and then once the majority moves over, the remaining parties are frowned upon. So the fact that 2 of the 3 major companies are teaming up, that makes them in the majority. So Sony automatically becomes the target.
Not only that, and what I want to add to that is, yeah, I feel you, Chips. You're right. Sony could say this is their time to get their payback, right? Because they're currently on the top. I feel you. They are currently on the top when it comes to the sales out of the well, the Nintendo Switch is in the next gen technically, but so I don't think it's fair to count that with the PS4. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Wait, let me just interject real quick. I think you can count them as a competitor because it's still a competing system.
Okay, fair.
Right?
But we'll count.
Yeah, right. So let me just throw this point out, and I'm gonna let you finish.
Sony as a competitor.
Wait. No, what?
I was just saying, Reggie, even when he talked about crossplay, he even talked about Sony as a competitor. That's all I said.
Right. So you got to count them as a competitor because Nintendo did a little over 18 million at the end of the year.
No. In one calendar year, they did a little over 17 million in one calendar year.
Right. And then in the same calendar year, Sony did 20.2. So they were like right up on Sony's heels. So you have to count them as a competitor because it's still a competing console. But so go ahead, finish.
All right. So my whole point to you is, I can feel what you're saying in terms of personal feelings. This is their get back. Where you keep on saying as a business. Can you understand? As a business, I cannot relate to this because when it comes to a business, you cannot let your personal feelings get in the way of businesses. That's just common law. That's the unspoken rule. You don't let your personal feelings get in the way of business. You don't let your personal feelings get in the way of what can make you more money at the end of the day. This is them.
Personally, don't think that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's not feelings. That's business.
No. It is personal feelings because
it's bad business. I think they thought it was a good idea.
Because hold up, because my whole thing is, if you're doing this towards Nintendo, where this happened over 20 years ago, let's put that in perspective. That was over 20 years ago, what you're referring to, Chips.
Right.
Over 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. You're going to sit there and tell me you're going to still hold that grudge? That's a grudge at that point.
And Xbox was what?
10 years ago, right?
10, 15 years ago?
So that's my point.
But it's saying it's not personal feelings because it still goes to the point. When Xbox was on top, they didn't want to cut Sony in on a crossplay. Right or wrong?
I'm not saying. Yeah, you're right. Xbox didn't want it.
Okay. And then when Nintendo was on top 20 years ago, their business move was to block Sony out of the gaming industry.
But here's the thing.
You seem to have a misunderstanding of the entire situation.
But here's the thing that I want you all to figure out, to remember though. The online component, even 5 years ago, online capability isn't where it is now. So we're talking about it does actually, because
it's a business at the end of the day.
No, right? it's a new world now, bro. Because now if you look at it 15 years ago when it came to online was on a whole different standpoint. Online's presence wasn't as nearly as good. The reason why I'm comparing it now, because the online competitor now that these other consoles are teaming up with, that we haven't mentioned this whole conversation, is now PC. Consoles could cross play with PC gamers now, and that's something that was never heard of before. So 5 years ago, even 5 years ago, we couldn't even do stuff like that. So now the fact that you can do that now, that is a game changer. That is a game changer. That is a big difference in the gaming industry. So you can't say time doesn't contribute. Yes, no, time is a contributing factor now. It's almost like the best example I could give you is like it's like staying in your ways. If you're gonna stay in your ways and if you're gonna refuse to evolve or for you to be flexible with the environment, you're gonna end up like Toys R Us and you're gonna go out of business because you're just too stubborn in your ways. You're gonna end up like Funko Land.
Business for different reasons.
That one hurts.
Toys R Us went out for different reasons.
They went out, but part of it was they lacked the online presence. They were stuck in their ways and did not want to have an online presence.
Adapt to die.
Yeah, and the corporate and part of the people that was part of the corporate board was stealing from the old company. So that's why they went out of. That's a huge factor why they went out of business, because people were stealing from their own company. That's why it went down. I mean, that's part of it.
Part of it, yeah.
You can't compare Toys R Us to Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo.
The point is adaptability. That's my whole point. My whole point is adaptability.
And Sony hasn't adapted over the years.
Sony
to what the consumers wanted for the most part.
With their PlayStation 4, they have not.
Keywords for the most part.
For their PlayStation 4, they haven't.
Excluding crossplay, how else has Sony not adapted?
Sony has been focusing. I'll tell you easily. Sony for the longest time has been focusing on the third party. They haven't really been focusing too much on building a stronger first party in this time. When they got the lead, they weren't focused on building a better first party library. Everything was based on third party, and that started to bite them when the Xbox One X came out. So now it's like, again, Nintendo, they're trying to do whatever they can to have some sort of exclusivity, and that's the key point now. This is where this all comes in full circle. The reason why Sony doesn't want to do this is because it takes away even more from their exclusivity. And it does, because
I'm not buying that.
Okay.
Because look at what Microsoft been doing. Right, they've been buying up companies left and right to get exclusives, and where are they now?
Well, they're at the bottom. Well, actually, but here's the thing, though.
Still at the no.
I actually hold up.
Sony it wasn't focusing on their main IPs or first party games.
But Microsoft is playing chess.
Microsoft has been buying up companies left and right to get exclusives, and where are they? They're still at the bottom. So what do you? So how does that even correlate?
But that correlates. Microsoft is playing chess. Microsoft is playing for the next gen. Microsoft is planning for the next gen. How
well is the Xbox One X is doing right now?
I don't know. They don't release the numbers.
They don't release the numbers, but
right. So why is that though? When Sony is more that's actually their numbers as well as Nintendo. Right? When they were both doing bad, they were more forthcoming about their numbers. Why isn't Microsoft more forthcoming about their numbers? Why?
That I can't answer for you. I'm not a Microsoft fan.
They don't want to. They don't want to.
Why. They were asked about that in the interview, and they dodged the question with, "Oh, we're not focused on numbers. We're focusing on consumers." Why? Because your console is at the bottom of the barrel. Nintendo beat you in a year. Sony's been beating you for the last few years.
All right,
dude, we're not arguing. Xbox is like
they still can't put out a good IP. Come on, son. Come on, fam.
We went on a big tangent on that one. That was actually kind of fun. But
I have one last thing to say. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Keep going.
I wanted to say it before. Back to the thing about Nintendo and Sony being direct competitors. The best example I can think of is they're direct competitors in the sense that football and basketball are direct competitors.
Good analogy.
They're both they're playing different games. They're both leagues, but they're playing different games. Whereas if football is Sony and Microsoft, Sony's the NFL and Microsoft's the Canadian Football League, whereas Nintendo is the NBA. You know what I mean? Like,
Don't diss Microsoft like that.
dude,
At least like, say the XFL or something. Come on. Or the double AFL.
Sony gets the, gets the Cam Newton titles, and Microsoft gets everything else. Gets,
Oh,
the Tim Tebow's of the
man.
world. Whereas the NBA, dude, who are they competing against? Like, who challenges the NBA? Nobody. But they're competing with the NFL for ratings because their seasons like cross each other. So they're competitors in that sense, where people aren't going to be watching the NBA when the Super Bowl's on. So they're different, but they're connected, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
That's fair enough. But Jared, Mr. Martin, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. So we're gonna end this off with the final question of the night. What game or games are you guys looking forward to the most this summer? And if you guys want a time gap for the summer, that's as of yesterday, June 21st, all the way to September 21st. I'll go first. Octopath Traveler. I'm looking forward to that game the most, actually. I have two games. Octopath Traveler and Monster Hunter Generations. Those are the two games I'm looking forward to the most this summer.
Yeah, East 8 is one for me, as well as Octopath. And Wolfenstein 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Crash. And I know this game didn't come out this year, but I actually just picked up Fire Emblem Fates for the 3DS, and I'm looking forward to playing that. So
Nice. Chips, what about you, man?
What games am I looking forward to?
Yeah.
As of right now, Octopath Traveler, Smash, and Pokemon.
This summer.
summer.
Summer games.
So Octopath, really?
You what about Spider-Man? I'm still interested somewhat in Spider-Man.
I don't know. Like, Spider-Man looks good, but to me, it's like playing Batman, except that I could web sling.
That's kind of the feeling I got from those games.
Yeah. So before I was hyped for Spider-Man, but now I'm not too keen on it. I'm just more focused on Octopath.
That seems like. Go ahead.
The game on the better console.
Wait, what? I didn't hear you.
I said the game on the better console.
Oh man. Oh man.
So Avidan, disconnect NX, and we'll catch him on a Discord.
But nah, seriously, Octopath Traveler, I think we can all agree that game is going to be something amazing. And it's like, the thing about Octopath that gets me is like, you can't, it's not the most graphically appealing game, but the game still hooks you in. And I don't know how.
It's very beautiful for what it is.
Exactly. Like, Square Enix did an amazing job on that game. And
Still
contrary to belief,
Studios.
I'm not mad to pay a full $60 on that game.
No, because it is a complete game. There's not going to be any DLC. They said the stories, you can play all 8 stories on one playthrough. You could put like 120 hours into it or something.
Yeah, there's a lot in Octopath.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Spider-Man, because I don't feel like it's going to be exactly like Batman. From what I heard, the combat's different in the sense of, in Batman, you just button mash, and it.
I hope there's more to that. I hope there's way more to it than before.
Well, in Spider-Man, apparently in the new one, you have to choose which direction you want to go, and there's a lot more freedom once you get aerial as to the moves you want to do and how you want to take down enemies.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man. It's gonna look good on my PS4 Pro.
See,
Octopath.
I don't have a H. I don't have a. I don't about to say HD. I don't have a 4K TV, so I didn't see a point in getting a PS4 Pro. And then literally a month after I get my PlayStation 4, they say, "Hey, guess what? We get to allow super sampling on your new PS4 Pro. So if you don't have a 4K TV, you still get the benefits." And I'm like, Sony, you suck for that. I was mad. That's one thing I will admit. I am salty about Sony for that. I will admit I am salty about Sony for that. So, I'm gonna open these last 10 minutes up for questions. Anyone in the chat, do you have any questions for us that you want us to answer? If you have any questions for us, just add our names and we'll go ahead and answer for you guys before we close out for the night.
Put him in right now.
Right now. Right now. Right now. Oh man, this was cool. And guys, don't worry about how me and Chips had our little debate. That's something we do all the time, and
Almost every
Chips
day.
is wrong a lot.
and he's not gonna be probably not gonna be on for another time. So I just took advantage of the other time. Mr. Martin says, "Are you a Players Unknown Underground Battlegrounds fan?" I don't know the game because the games look so clunky. The game looks so clunky to me, so I'm not a fan of that game at all.
I played one game on mobile, and then uninstalled it.
Oh, see, that's how you know you don't really like it when you uninstall the game.
I didn't want to take it up space. I wanted it out of my life.
It's like, please get out of here. Next question from TG Lopez. What do you guys plan on playing this weekend? Tonight we will be playing Splatoon 2 and Overwatch. So stay tuned for that. We will be doing Splatfest tonight, so which is actually in a couple of minutes. I may not jump in.
Team Pulp.
Get out of here. We
No
may not.
Team Pulp?
We may not play Splatfest right away. I may play some Overwatch first because I haven't played literally all week, so I got to get back into that. Nintendo Direct. Why is Chips drinking that Sony water? Because
it's pure. It comes from the mountains.
Nah,
That's why.
he said
Drone.
it comes from the mountains.
Your love, bro. But I was spitting straight facts. You can't deny that.
Chips, you very, very nice.
He was spit.
Okay,
He
you're
was.
very good person.
Listen, people.
Goodbye.
Chips was spitting that those are alternative facts. He was giving us alternative facts. That's what he was giving us. Am I lying though?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, but let's see. Any other questions in the chat that we have? We have got more people asking. I have a question. What would you like me to ask you? Do you want $1 million? Because if you're willing to give that to me, I would say yes.
I mean, Avidan, if he donates you $1 million, I think you're obliged to split it between us.
Of course. Of course.
Don't leave me out of the pot.
That would be. We will all get 330. Well,
You can get your $600 for your PS3.
Math.
we could all get the $333,000, $333,333, and then we'll give the dollar to somebody else who needs it.
What about me? You just split it 3 ways.
Oh yeah, right. My math is off.
Oh,
$250,000.
I see what's going on. Chip doesn't get any right because he's
Right.
Nintendo
got it.
people.
Yeah. You can take your Squirtle and walk, Chips. Out of here.
Oh man, New York Giants fan, what's going on? You haven't been here for a minute. Welcome back to the chat. I haven't seen you here in a long time, man. Oh man, this was actually a fun night. But guys, we're gonna I'm putting everyone's channel in the description. I'm gonna link you guys their channels too. Go ahead and make sure you support these guys' channels, and you also give Jake a follow on Twitter. He would like some autograph, like sign some autographs. He said earlier before we went live.
I'm gonna start streaming, hopefully, beginning of August. So
Really?
hopefully, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna start streaming some stuff.
What you gonna be streaming, man?
Madden.
I don't know. Yeah, Madden.
Matt.
You want to see me rage? You want to see me snap my controller in half? Come on through. Maybe
Play Fortnite.
good time. Maybe I'll.
All right, I'm gonna start giving you guys their channels because you guys have been awesome being in here. What other games are you going to play? I'll probably play some more games this weekend. I'll probably play outside of Fortnite, outside of what game is that? I just said it. Not Fortnite. Well, I would play Fortnite this weekend. Splatoon 2, Overwatch, Paladins. I may play some Xenoblade Chronicles 2, some Octopath. I have a lot that I want to actually touch on this weekend. Actually, I got to do some more research because Jake, I'm doing your request this weekend.
I have exciting news on a game that I got.
Oh, what's up? Tell us.
I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition for $19.99.
Wait, what?
Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. I got it for $20. I've never played it.
Oh,
I'm gonna be
nice.
playing it
I got
all day
it.
tomorrow.
That's another game I gotta get back to. That's one of the games in my backlog.
That's a good price. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I got it for 40 for that. I got that same one for $40. Yeah. So, actually, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it for $40. I actually got it. My wife got it for my birthday. I just know how much she spent. So I was like, "Thank you for this game." So I definitely
told you when she handed it to you. She's like, "This was $40."
No, it was just it happened to be on the Amazon. She just told me because she came to me and she was like, "Which one do I get?" Because on Amazon there was two of them. There was the regular edition and there was the complete edition. So I just went with the complete edition.
Every version of Octopath is the complete edition.
Man, I can't wait to play some Octopath. So guys, I link their channels in the description. Make sure you guys give them a follow. NX Revolution is 2 away from 20 subscribers. Let's give him to 25 subscribers tonight if you're not subscribed to him. And Chips is 39 subscribers. Let's get him to 50 subscribers before the end of the night. Make sure you guys go ahead and check out their channels. Really dope people. Go ahead and follow Jake on Twitter. When he gets his YouTube channel, you'll know it because he'll probably talk about it on Twitter. Probably say why he broke his controller and have a funny video about that. So make sure you guys follow him on Twitter as well. So this was fun. I had the video go. I had the music going on for the longest time, but I had it so low no one could hear it. So I was like, oh. So I finally got the perfect volume. So I'm gonna have music going for the rest of these streams. Is it possible to change your YouTube name? If that's not your YouTube backslash thing, there's probably a way for you to do that, but not exactly sure. But we're gonna end the stream here, guys. I thank you guys for coming through. This was fun, and
definitely
make sure you guys go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and if you haven't, make sure you share this with a friend so they can watch the replay. This is Avidan. This is Chips. This is NX. This is Jake. Signing out. Have a good one. Peace. Did you just really?
Yep, I did. That was supposed to be the end note.
Dude, what the fuck is on your Squirtle?